So now we're going to talk about in this short presentation, Babylon gone in 1 hour. This is a theory, a doctrine. It's been floating around for some time. Many camps, Christian preachers talk about the threat and the destruction by thermonuclear war. And this stems from Revelation I think it's 18. Yeah, so it's Revelations 18 that, it says Babylon will be destroyed in an hour. We'll start on 4. And I heard another voice from heaven saying, "Come honor her, my people, that ye be not partakers of her sins, and that ye receive not her plagues. For her sins have reached unto heaven, and God hath remembered her iniquities. Reward her even as she rewarded you, and double unto her according to her works. In the cup which she hath filled, fill to her double." Okay. "And the kings of the earth, who have committed fornication and live deliciously with her, shall bewail her and lament for her, when they shall see the smoke of her burning, standing afar off for the fear of her torment, saying, Alas, alas, that great city Babylon, that mighty city, for in an hour is thy judgment come." All right. So this doctrine out there that some have used to say that Babylon the Great, America, United States, will burn within an hour. So they equate that to thermonuclear war, bombs falling, and everything being on fire, and it's going to be done in an hour. Well, here's the thing. If you don't read any other books or study into it, then you won't know. You won't know about the plagues. You don't know about the time frame when it talks about ages in the Bible. Well, in the Apocalypse of Abraham, I got some screenshots here so we can go into this little subject briefly and bring some clarity to the conversation. It says let's read this part 2. "The heathen, but 1 hour in mercy and contumely as among the heathen. And I said, O eternal, mighty one, and how long a time is an hour of the age? And he said, 12 years have I ordained of this ungodly age to rule among the heathen." Okay, then we skip down to the little commentary, which the commentary is helpful. Sometimes it is, sometimes it ain't. But I'm just going, not for the calculation of the time, but just for the sake of the time and how it's being used. It says 12 hours, each hour 100 years. One day, the apocalyptic writer possibly reckoned this day as the beginning of the founding of the holy city of David. All right? So, when it goes back to, in Revelations, where it talks about an hour, it's people out here saying that it's going to be an hour, as in 60 minutes, because that's the only way that they can make that particular verse fit into the narrative. Okay? Like I said, I'm not into calculating time periods and dates and all that. I just want us to look at this for what it is, as far as it's saying an hour of an age. Okay, says how long? And I answered and said, Almighty, Eternal One, hallowed be thy power. Be favorable to my petition. For this hast thou brought me up here and shown me, as thou hast brought me up to thy height, so make this known to me, thy beloved one, as much as I ask, whether what I saw shall happen to them for long. And he showed me a multitude of his people and said to me, on account through 4 issues, as thou sawest, I shall be provoked by them, and in these my retribution for their deed shall be accomplished. But in the 4th outgoing of 100 years, and 1 hour of the age, the same is 100 years, it shall be misfortune among, okay, and talk about the heathen, plagues upon the heathen. 1 hour of the age, the same as 100 years. Is what, okay, so we'll go here. You can read some of this. Okay, I was going to read, okay, a little piece of this right here. It says, to the people who proceed from thee in the last days, in this 12th hour of the age of ungodliness, but in the 12th year of my final age, I will set up this man from thy generation, whom thou sawest. Okay, so what I'm trying to point at is, when you talk about hours and ages, we're talking about different increments of time. The way that they're using it is not talking about 60 minutes, everything is going to burn. You're talking about in the last hour of the final age, you're talking about a different time increment. Now, if you don't have these other books, or you're looking for this stuff, you're not going to find it. And it's camps, Christians, whatever the case out here, saying, oh, thermonuclear war. No, that's not what's going down. Okay? And in the following, okay, I'm going to read this part. In the following chapter is the description of the 10 plagues which visit the heathen at the 12th hour of the present age. Okay? In the 12th hour of the present age, which is the last hour of that age before, and see, okay, before the elect one of the Most High, all right, who gathers together the dispersal of Israel and the annihilation of horrible doom to the godless foes of Israel and God's enemies, both within and without Israel, okay? Now, I'm just leave the screenshots up. You can pause the clip, pause the video, whatever you guys say. I know the way I'm reading it right now, it might not match up with the slides, but You can see for yourself. Okay. And he said to me, what is desired in thine heart, I will tell thee, because thou hast sought to see the 10 plagues which I have prepared for the heathen, and have prepared beforehand at the passing over of the 12th hour of the earth. And there you go again with the hour, the 12th hour of the earth. Hear what I divulge to thee, so shall it come to pass. All right. And on another slide, talking about a view shortening the age of ungodliness, which is we're at the end of that. Before the age of righteousness beginneth to grow, my judgment shall come upon the lawless heathen through the people of thy seed, who have been separated for me. In those days I will bring upon all creatures of the earth 10 plagues, that through misfortune, disease, sighing of grief in their soul, thus much will I bring upon the generations of men that be upon the account of the provocation and the corruption of its creatures, wherefore by they. Okay, and it goes on. Now, that's what I wanted you to see when you talk about, okay, now we got plagues. People talking about plagues. What plague? The 10 plagues. 10 plagues of what? The 10 plagues of the apocalypse of Abraham. And one of them is conflagration of many cities is what you're seeing now. Basically, things on fire. That's one of the ones. Now, when it talks about they're going to see the fires burning from afar off, it's not going to be because of thermonuclear war. It's going to be because things are going to be on fire. The old-fashioned way. Truth like rain, it does not care who it falls upon. All praises to the Most High. Recognition to wisdom and reverence for the master teacher, the Christ, the Messiah.